Hello again, welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH back again for another iOS video. And today I want to show you another accessible app. It was one that I really wanted to cover again a while ago, but it happened to come out just after iOS 7 and my XREC recording app broke. So, you remember when I was covering iOS videos early on the channel, that I covered a lot of reading apps. And yes, there was a lot there, but there was one key app or one key book service that was missing that a lot of blind and low vision users love to use. And that service, of course, is the Talking Book Library, or the BARD program. Now there is an app available to do that. I'm going to enable my AirPlay here again. There we go. We are in business. Again, I'm going to do this with my phone. So, there is a free app available now called BARD Mobile. And this will let you download and play both audio and Braille content from the BARD Talking Book Library. I am going to go into my task switcher. Oh, let's close that. Let's close that too. Get rid of some processor intensive stuff here. Make sure our recording is good. So if you have some vision and you're able to see the screen right now, this interface should look very familiar to you. What we have on the screen here, it looks pretty much like the hardware version if you've gotten one of the digital talking book players from your state, whether it's the basic model or the advanced model. This one looks more like the basic model, I think, but a lot of the advanced functionality is elsewhere in the app. So, I am in the middle of a book right now. Let's just start at the top of the interface and I'll show you what's going on. So, Inside Apple, How America's Most Admired and Secretive Company Really Works. Okay, so this is a book I got recommended by somebody not too long ago that I read, but I still have on here. I'm going to swipe to the right. Navigation button. I'll get to that shortly. That's where I can choose what section of the book do I want to jump to, my table of contents, chapters, or however the book is laid out. Okay, I'm in the front matter right now. Current time 5 minutes 1 second. Total time 6 hours 13 minutes 30 seconds. So there is my progress indicator. Current position 1%. 1%. Bookmark button. I can add a bookmark or go to a bookmark. Previous button. And go to a previous or double tap jump by front matter button. Next button. Or I can go to the next section of the reading material. I'm just flicking to the right. Rewind. Play button. Play. Double tap to play. Fast forward button. Double tap to move 5 seconds. Double tap and hold to move further. So what's cool is the rewind and fast forward buttons. You can tap them to go by 5 seconds, or if you want to kind of scrub through the book a little bit quicker and find out where you are, you can double tap and hold if you're using VoiceOver. I'm going to flick to the right again. Speed button. Speed button. I can choose, and I can double tap that too. I can adjust the tone, but I usually just leave that alone. Speed normal adjustable. Swipe up or down with the finger to adjust the value. I have, this is a slider again, a left-right slider, and we're at normal speed right now, which for me is very slow, but I figure it's a good demonstration speed. And then if I flick to the right even more, bookshelf, tab, 1 of 4. We have our tabs across the bottom of the interface. So I will cover that shortly. But as far as visually, like I said, I was just swiping with VoiceOver, swiping to the right or swiping to the left to go backwards. All that works fine. But visually, it looks exactly like the hardware players that you put the cartridges into. So it looks just like that. You load the app, you'll pretty much immediately know how to play a book. Now, downloading it is a little bit different, but we'll get to that shortly. So I'm going to hit the play button and let you just hear a little snippet of this book.
Play button.
Organization. CEO Tim Cook is at the center.
Oh.
And the reporting structure is
It actually uses audio airplay. Sweet.
From other corporations. This chart, conceptualized by graphic designer David Foster, is based on the author's reporting in addition to some limited information Apple releases publicly. Reader's note: an organizational chart of Apple is shown.
Button. Play.
Okay, so that is just, we're playing a downloaded audiobook. Perfect. Now, the one thing I really, really like about this particular app is if you've downloaded any, like, Downcast or any podcast apps or even Audible, things like that, when you speed up the app on iOS, it sounds terrible. You get this weird kind of tinny sound. It's just compressed super badly. And it can be kind of obnoxious if you like listening at a faster speed. But I'm going to crank this baby way up.
225%.
Yeah, let's go 225. That's a good chunk higher. Now I'm going to play again.
Tim Cook is the CEO. Reporting directly to Tim Cook are Senior Vice Presidents: Jeff Williams, Senior Vice President Operations; Jonathan Ive, Senior Vice President Industrial Design; Eddie Q, Senior Vice President Internet Software and Services; Craig Federighi, Senior Vice President Software Engineering; Philip Schiller, Senior Vice President Marketing; Peter Oppenheimer, Senior Vice President Chief Financial Officer; Bruce Sewell, Senior Vice President General Counsel; Bob Mansfield,
Okay,
Senior Vice President
slow it down a little.
Senior Vice President Hardware Engineering. Also reporting directly to Tim Cook, Vice Presidents: Joel Podolny, Vice President HR; Katie Cotton.
Let's go to the next section.
Don Brandon, Vice President.
Next.
1. Rethink Leadership. On August 24, 2011, the day Steve Jobs resigned as Chief Executive Officer of Apple, he attended a meeting of the company's board of directors. He was gravely ill and had reached the conclusion that it was time to relinquish his post. He became chairman of the board that day, giving some hope to Apple's employees, customers, and
So,
investors.
if you are listening with headphones, you may notice a little bit of kind of artifacting or a little bit of compression, but it sounds immensely better than a lot of the other apps that allow the audio to be sped up. And the other great news is, like I said, some of the other, like as I've said in some of the podcasts and the Audible apps before, they speed things up, but not to the degree that I and a lot of long-time speed reader, visually impaired speed readers like to have read. So the BARD app goes very fast. It goes up to 300%, and that 300 is very fast. I will occasionally listen to that fast, but I typically hover between 250 and 275%. So, very good there. So that's one thing I especially liked, that they were able to get that to work, which gives me hope that other apps should be able to make their audio sped up even better. I've heard rumors about Voice Dream being able to get a little faster and play a little clearer at sped up speeds in the future too. So here's hoping for that. So let's go back up to the top again to this navigation.
Navigation button. Double navigation.
And it's just a straightforward, it's just a straightforward menu of the different sections that are broken up. This book is broken up into. So I can
1. To embrace secrecy. 1. 3. Focus obsessively. 1. 4. Stay startup hungry. 1. 5. Hire disciples.
Now, I don't really understand why it keeps saying 1, unless that means maybe it's a DAISY level 1. So maybe if it was like more of a, if it was broken down into chapters and subsections, maybe you would have 2. Maybe that's what that means. At first, I thought those numbers would be, okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, but maybe that's just the DAISY hierarchy. And that's why it just keeps saying 1 in front of every item. But that is how the playback works. It's very efficient, works very well, and it's very responsive.
Bookshelf.
I'm going to go to the bookshelf tab again here. So I have a bunch of stuff in here right now.
Inside Apple, How America's Most Admired and Secretive.
So that's the book we were reading, Inside Apple. How to Talk Minnesotan. That was the one that I had, somebody had referred that to me, and I was reading that. That's sort of amusing. That's a weird, kind of funny book. And I can just, again, use my voiceover navigation, 3-finger navigate up, 3-finger navigate down, and then just touch or flick my way through the menu. So, or I can do a search. There is a search field. Or above the list, I can sort by title, author, latest,
3 of 3.
so latest downloaded. So yeah, if you do have a lot of content in here, in your library, you can filter through it quickly.
Get books. Tab.
Across
Get
the
books.
bottom, we also have a Get Books tab. We have a
Settings.
Settings tab.
4. Now reading. Tab.
And a Now
4 of
Reading
4.
tab. So the Now Reading is nice, so if you don't have to go to my library all the time, you can just pop right back into whatever book you are reading. Let's go.
Audiobooks. Wishlist.
So we are in
Selected. Get books.
Get
Tab.
Books.
2 of 4.
So there's a few ways that we can do this now. So
Get book. Wishlist.
the top item is
Double tap for
Wishlist, and I don't know if I have anything in there right now.
Wishlist. 0 items.
0
Get
items, so I
books.
don't.
Back. Get books. Back button.
So the way this app works for getting books is that you can get books through the app, but you have to kind of go a little bit roundabout way of doing it. And I'll show you how that process works. There isn't just like a, hey, I'm going to search in the app and then automatically just, okay, I got it. There's my list. Let's download it. You have to use the BARD website interface in order to download books. And what you do is you navigate the website, find the book that you want, and then you add it to your wish list. When it's in your wish list, you have the top item in the Get Books area.
Double tap for wishlist.
And once it's in your wish list, the app will let you download the book directly onto your device. So I'm not sure if it's an Apple restriction or how their service works or some kind of copy protection thing, but that's why it's kind of screwy right now. So
Audiobooks.
let's
Double
go.
tap for recently added audiobooks.
So now we can also browse, if we don't want to search, we can browse the recent books in a variety of categories. So
Audiobooks.
audiobooks,
Audio magazines.
audio
Double
magazines,
tap braille books.
braille
Double
books,
tap braille magazines.
braille magazines.
Double tap for recently.
Now, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate to you today the braille interface because that you do need a refreshable braille display, a Bluetooth braille display. So what you'll do is you'll download the book, you'll put it into your braille display, or you'll have your braille display paired, and then you'll go into you'll bring focus to the part where the book is, and then you'll be able to use your braille display's navigation and reading buttons and commands to navigate through the book. It works generally pretty well. I have tried it with the braille display at work, and it does work pretty darn well. So, if you are a braille reader, you have access to a huge amount of braille books and magazines there. But I'm just not going to be able to demonstrate that part of it for you today.
Braille BARD website. Braille magazines.
So now there's a heading that says
Browse BARD.
Browse BARD
Double tap to open BARD website. Browse BARD.
and Browse
Double tap to
BARD.
open BARD website.
We're going to do that.
BARD. Get books. Back button.
And what it does is, because I've already put in my credentials, it knows who I am. I have my BARD username and password entered into this app, the BARD mobile app. And the web page looks just like it would on your computer, pretty much.
Recent BARD main page. Recently added books and magazines. Heading left. Most popular books. A list of the most downloaded book. Find books.
I'm just flicking to the
Level 2.
right.
Display only books produced by or specially. Search the collection. Heading level 3. Search the collection. Text field. Double tap to edit. Search the collection.
Okay,
Text
so
field.
I'm on an edit field. I'm going to show you how the whole wish list business works. So, what do we want to search for? What is a good book? Tell you what, let's just, I don't know, let's just look up,
Capital H. Capital H. A.
let's just look
A,
up Harry Potter because I can't
R,
think of
R,
anything at the
R,
moment.
U, Y, Y, space, Harry, O, P, P, O, O, T, 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 E, E, R, R, search.
Search.
Tab, 4 of 4. Start over. Link.
Oh.
Go to BARD books containing keyword Harry Potter. Heading level
Now, I'm going to use my rotor, my voiceover rotor.
handwriting. Characters. Language. Containers. Form control. Links. Headings.
I'm going to go by heading, so I'm going to...
Audiobooks. Heading level 1. In the title, 16 audiobooks. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets DB 48,437.
Okay, that's,
Heading
let's
level
see,
4.
that's
Link.
book 1. I think, so. What is it, Sorcerer's Stone is book 1, I think?
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows DB. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire D. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince D. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix D. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban D. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone DB 47,260.
Okay,
Heading level 4. Link.
so I found the book that I wanted under my headings. So if I flick to the right now, I can get a description.
Rolling. J. K. Reading
There's
time,
my
8
author.
hours, 55 minutes.
8 hours, 55 minutes.
Read by Eric Sandfold. Fantasy fiction. Bestsellers. On. Harry Potter. His 11th birthday. He learns that he is more than an unwanted orphan. The Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry recruits him because he has Harry.
I'm just flicking to the right.
Looks forward to attending his add to my wish list. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's
So,
Stone. Link.
instead of a download link, this version of the mobile page has, for each one of these books, under the description, there is a add to wish list. So I'm going to double tap that link.
Add to my wish list. Harry Potter, Minnesota Braille and Talking Book Library. Link.
Okay.
Book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone successfully added to wish list.
I just
Level 2.
tapped the top of the page because I noticed it had changed. So now this book is in my wish list. So now let me go back down to the bottom where the tabs are.
Bookshelf. Tab. Selected. Get books.
Get books.
Tab.
I'm going to double
2
tap that
selected.
again.
Get books. Tab. 2 of
Oh,
4.
okay.
Get books. Back button.
I'm going to go to the upper left and hit the back button.
Get books.
Now
Browse
we're
bar.
back to this menu again where we had, browse the latest magazines and books and braille books and magazines. And on the top we have our wish list feature.
Wish list.
Now we have one
Harry Potter
item.
and the Sorcerer's Stone. Rolling. J. K.
All right, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So we have now added it to the wish list via the website in the app. And if I were to double tap on this, it would just start downloading. I do not want to do that right now, so I am not going to.
More info. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Details.
I think this is
Annotation.
where I can...
Download. Button. Annotation. On Harry. Wish
Let's
list.
see.
Back.
I'm trying to remember how to
Harry
delete
Potter and the
it.
Sorcerer's Stone. 87% edit. Button.
Okay, there's an edit button up in the
Double
upper
tap to
right.
delete item. Done. Delete. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
So
Rolling.
I don't want to
J.
download
K.
that.
Delete. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Come
Rolling.
on.
Bookshelf. Tab. Delete. Selected. Get. Delete. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's
Delete. Okay.
Wish list.
So I've
Wish list.
removed it from my wish list, but if I wanted to double tap it, before going to that edit field, I could. So it is a little bit more roundabout way, but it's still very, I would say, pretty easy, especially if you have ever used the BARD website before. You don't have to leave the app at all to do it.
Get books. Back
I'm going to go to the Get Books
Get
again,
books.
and I'm going to go to the Recent section
Double
just to
tap
show
the
you
wish
what that
list.
looks like too.
Audiobooks.
Let's say
tap the
audiobooks.
recently added
Let's do
audiobooks.
audio magazines. Let's see what we got.
Audio magazines. Audio
So these are going to
Audio
pull up a
magazine.
list
50
of
items.
these are going to pull up a list of recently added magazines. So I'm just going to touch the top one here, and then I'm going to flick to the right.
The week, February 14th, 2014.
The week, I don't know what that is.
More info. Spider, the magazine for children, February
Okay.
2014. More info. The New York Times Book Review, February 9th, 2014. More info. Health and Nutrition Newsletters, January 2. More info. People, February 17th. More info. National Geographic, February. More info. The Nation, February 7th. More info. The Economist, February. More info. The Oprah Magazine,
Ew.
February. More info. Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. More info. Asimov's Science Fiction, March 2000.
So you get the idea. It's just going to show you a certain number of the most recently added books or magazines or whatever category you use. If I were on one of these titles and I wanted to download it, I don't have to go to the website and search for it. Because it is in this recent feed, I can actually just double tap and it'll start downloading that particular issue. If I go back to my bookshelf,
Tab. Audiobooks. Bookshelf.
and if I go,
Select category.
I'm going to select,
Back button.
there's a back button in the upper left corner just as usual in most interfaces. So before, when I was reading the Apple book, I was in the book part of my library.
Audiobooks. 9 items.
So I have 9 audiobooks in there.
Audio magazines. 1 item.
I have 1 audio magazine.
Braille books. 0 items.
0 Braille books.
Braille magazines. 1 item.
1 Braille magazine.
Help. 1 item.
And help, so you can get your help manual
Help. 1 item.
kind of thing in there too. So even in your library, when you download from BARD, it will put them into its own, separate areas depending on what you are reading, so it's easier to find. So this app is very well done. It works great with voiceover. It works with Braille displays. The audio quality when you speed things up is really good. No complaints there. I've heard the only thing that it doesn't really have that I don't really care about so much, but a lot of people I know would like, is I don't believe there's currently a sleep timer, but I'm guessing that's something that they probably will add in the future. So yeah, other than that, this app is very well done. Let's pop into settings real quick.
Settings. Audio settings. Button.
I can change audio settings, visual settings,
User account settings.
user account settings. Let's see,
Audio
what's under
settings.
audio?
Audio settings. Speed. 200%.
So I can set my speed.
Tone. 0. Tone. Norm. Background playback. Switch button. On.
If you want to read outside the app, I would highly recommend enabling this, the background. So if I hit the home button or lock my screen, I can still listen to a book.
Auto lock during playback. Switch button. Off.
I prefer to leave that off because I don't want it to auto lock. I will lock it manually myself if I want to do that.
Skippable. Play. Button. Auto lock during playback. Skippable. Play. Button.
Skippable play. I'm not sure what that means.
Verbosity. Switch button. On.
Verbosity.
Double tap. Restore defaults. Button.
Or restore defaults.
Settings. Back button.
So pretty self-explanatory stuff for the most part there. There's 1 or 2 items I'm not too clear on, but for the most part, I just leave it as is. I turn the background reading on, and I'm set. I'm good to go.
Visual settings. Button.
Visual settings.
Context. Visual settings. Font size. Large. Button.
I've increased my font size within the app. You've noticed that all my menu items have been pretty large.
Contrast. White and black. Button.
And the contrast is set to white on black. So it's not going to do it for the web page itself, but everything else, all the menus and stuff in the app, aside from the actual, like, the website that you go to when you search for books and the player part itself where it looks like the hardware player, everything else is going to have that high contrast or whatever you choose color scheme look. So
Settings.
like I
Back
said,
button.
very well done.
Settings. Now reading. Tab.
And there's my
Form
now
form.
reading tab. So that pretty much covers BARD Mobile, BARD Mobile. It is available for free in the App Store now. I believe it came out in like September, October-ish, somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I've used it a fair amount actually in the last several months. And like I said, I think I haven't had any crashing issues. The performance has been very good, and just the features wise, it's been also very well thought out. So you do have to be a BARD member, which is free. You can sign up through whatever your state library is. If you have like a state library or a state services or like you can do it directly through the library or through the website. Just look, you can find them on the internet, and you have to provide proof of a print-related disability. You get that from a doctor, or I believe you can get it through, like, if you have a disability services person that can provide proof for you, a little written letter or whatever. That should work too. But so that is yet another accessible reading service available on iOS. So between BARD, Bookshare, Learning Ally, Amazon, Kindle, Nook, iBooks, some other stuff that I don't even remember, You will never run out of things to read. There is just a plethora of content out there, and in a variety of different formats. Audible, I forgot about that. So yeah, take your pick. But now I think I've pretty much covered all the main reading apps available. The major ones that are available, both mainstream and disability related for iOS. So hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope you guys found it useful. Again, like I said, just like the video, leave a comment if you wish, and subscribe. And until next time,